Congratulations! You have found WrestleShoot, hosted by the Wild Thing Rob Wilds and the ladies' man Chris Casanova. Combined, we have 40 years of wrestling experience, and we're here to share those experiences, stories, and knowledge with you over the podcast airwaves. We'll be joined by friends of ours from time to time to share their stories and experiences with you as well. So climb aboard the crazy train we call WrestleShoot. We know how to do it, and we do it real well. That's right, folks. This is week 2 of the WrestleShoot 1-year anniversary month. I'm your host, Rob Wiles, joined, of course, by the about to leave us, but still lovely and talented, my hetero life mate, Chris Casanova, live from Detroit.
Detroit Rock City.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotta lose your mind.
Yeah, a little Delta behind me here.
Yeah, Delta. And everybody, just so you know, Delta screwed Chris. Didn't even spit on the tip first, and they just changed his plane ticket. So now he's about to depart from Tampa to head home, or Detroit to head home.
You're still in Tampa.
I am still in Tampa, dude. Until I'm in Tampa, I'm always going to be in Tampa, and then I'll be in Tampa. God
yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll get to it, but honestly, it seems like the thing to do these days with these airlines. It's like, oh, we're just going to change your trip. It doesn't matter where you need to be at. We'll just delay it 4 or 5 hours, and they'll do it like the day before. Like literally, they won't wait like 2-3 days before. No, they'll do it the day before. Sometimes even the day of.
Yes. Oh, sure. Like Frontier totally canceled the flight on you.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. Like I got my money back. I'm like, okay, I'll just go buy another flight. And I tell you, it's unfortunate that Southwest does not go up here because I would have used them. Yeah, they're stable. They're solid.
Who would have ever thought back in the old days that we would be is the way to go?
Yeah. It's weird how things change, man.
So anyway, here to get our back, because I know you've only got a couple of minutes with us, and I know you want to say hey to our special guest, the pissed off dwarf himself, Chris Geyer. But one of our buddies is stepping in to help us out with, you happen to be gone. And that's one of our newest members here at the Off the Hook Network. That's the Child's Play Ninja himself.
What's up?
How you doing?
Want to get a little hotter with your mic there, buddy?
Oh,
bring it like it's hot.
Right?
Bring it like it's hot.
Gotta hot.
Hold on.
So yeah, we're here. Just still can't hear you for beans, buddy. Is he still with us? There we go. Maybe you just need to put a little bit more wrestler in you and yell into the mic. Just cut a promo, pal.
Let me tell you something.
Tell everybody you're fired unless you.
That should be better.
Oh,
or is that too loud?
No, that's great.
Ninja Chris Casanova, and the 1-year WrestleShoot anniversary month. We can't do it all in one day. Not 2, not even 3. We're gonna drag this party out for 4 weeks. Last week we had a hell of a good time with Mr. Buff Bagwell. And now we're going to bring on our guest that I have been trying to get hooked up since WrestleShoot started a year ago. I think he's just trying to shut me up. That's why he's here today. Well, let's bring him on. Midget wrestler extraordinaire, pissed off dwarf, Mr. Christopher Geyer.
That introduction, that was beautiful, man. You're right. You have been trying to get me on here for a long time. Thank you for the invite. I'm glad to be here.
I'd be like, hey, damn it, when are you going to do this? He's like, I will. Oh, okay.
And then
one of these days.
And then I had it in my head that today was Monday, so I almost missed it again. Look. But here we are.
Should I share the story, the conversation I just shared with the boys? It's pretty funny.
I don't even care.
It's
I
pretty
don't
funny.
care.
About when I hit him up and I say, hey, you ready for tonight? He's like, oh, damn, I'm mowing the lawn. glad you said something.
Mm-hmm.
So then I thought it was a call in. So I was like, okay, what time do you want me to call in? Like, 5 till. And he goes, video shoot, dude. And I'm like, man, I'm sure glad you're telling me these things. I'm sitting here in my underpants.
I
My
said, whoa,
question
buddy.
is, were you really
5.0.
mowing the lawn though?
That's a visual, man. That's all.
Were you mowing the lawn in your underpants?
That's what I thought.
I'm sorry. Everybody got shot on me again. My signal is horrible here.
Were you mowing the lawn in your underpants?
Hey, I don't want to talk about it. You know, if the video gets released, the video gets released. That's,
I'm just saying that
I
might
don't
be
feel that's
so
nobody
viral.
until the video gets released.
I think that would be quite the marketable video, especially
I
if
agree.
you did it. Especially if you did it in the pissed off dwarf face paint.
Yes. You got to give it up a little bit, man. Absolutely.
If I was in the
Everybody was
POD
giving-
makeup, mowing the lawn, in my underpants, you're right. That might get a few hits.
This
That's
is
right.
show business, and you kind of gotta, go that extra step sometimes.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Real quick, let's everybody give a quick, hey, how are you, to one of our ride or die WrestleShoot fans, Maria. She said, hey to CPA and meet Chris, everybody. So what's up, girl? Glad
What
you
up,
joined us
Maria?
today.
How's it going?
How's it going?
Well, guys, I got to jump off, man. Just want to say peace out and have an awesome show. Thanks, Chris.
Very nice meeting you.
Feels weird. Feels like I'm cheating on Chris, this being our 1 year anniversary month at all. And here I am with two guys, it's not him. Wait a minute.
Right.
That's coming off creepy.
I don't think I like the direction.
I had the same issue last week with my wife.
So, Chris, how's retirement treating you, buddy? You loving it?
It's getting better. I mean, I don't know if you guys knew exactly why I had to retire, but in the end of 2017, November 2017, I was diagnosed with severe spinal stenosis and became paralyzed from the chest line down. And I was completely paralyzed, no feeling at all, from my chest line down for until February of 2018. And so since then, it's been learning. I know this sounds crazy, but learning to walk all over again, learning to walk in speed again, and then distance and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's been quite a battle. But we're getting there. Every day we get a little further.
Nice. I remember when old short sleeve Samson, one of your guys, when he announced his retirement, that shit didn't last very long, did it? He didn't even stay away a year.
But you know how it is, and it's in your blood. And Samson's another one of them out there that just, this is what he loves. It was what he was born for, and giving him props. I mean, when he said he was going to retire, and I know when you're talking about, and he did that big countdown and everything, and I was really surprised. I was thinking, oh goodness, is he really going to be done? And then next thing I knew, he was back out there doing it again. So,
yeah, who knows? How's your son doing? He's still working?
No, he does spot shows here and there, but my son in a very early age, when he got into it in his younger years as a child and stuff, but he at a very young age, he told me he might do it for a short time, and it wasn't nothing he was going to stick with because, he had a brain. He wanted to make a career. So he's still lit. I mean, once in a while he'll do spot shows, but not very often. He's got the real job world and doing his thing.
Yeah, he was good though, man. When you guys came out to Pittsburgh and tussled, I was like, Jesus, he's a stiff one too. But then maybe it's just because he's wrestling his dad, and he's like, ooh, I'm going to get some receipts in tonight.
Absolutely. That's funny you should bring that up because I went through two heavy phases in my life where I was overweight, and one other was when I retired the first time in 2007. And so I went through a late phase, and of course, then it's in my blood. I wanted to get back into it. Well, that's about the time my son's coming into it. So the first probably 15, 20 times I wrestled him, he got frat dad. And so a lot of my work would be the old school, working from the middle, one bump during the whole match type thing.
Right.
And then I just was really tired of being heavy. So I got with a trainer, and I got in literally the best shape of my life. I was bodybuilding and everything for a little bit. And I was benching 235. And oh my gosh, I was saying there for a minute right before I went paralyzed. And it was funny because I went through a 3-month gap where the biggest portion of my muscle gain and everything came that my son didn't see me. Well, then we had a show up in Chicago, Illinois for micro championship wrestling in the fill-in match under Johnny Green. And I was running late. So my son's there, and, he goes off to the ring, and I'm hurrying up and getting ready. And he saw me just quickly as I came. I had all my baggy clothes on and everything. He hadn't seen how much improvement happened. And it was the funniest thing because I knew we could work a match out even though we had talk because, father-son. And so then I get introduced to the ring, and now I was doing all the running and everything. And so my match was quicker, the timing was better, the moves were bigger, the spots were better. And it was so funny because he finally put me on the corner and he starts choking me legit. And I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm not used to you being like this. You got to slow down. And so that was like one of my funnier times with my kids in the ring. So he got I'd say probably a half dozen matches anyway, me in my best shape. And then shortly right around the time, like I said, then I went paralyzed for that time. And then it was over.
No, nice. Everybody who's watching right now, we got this chat room right over here, man. Feel free to interact with us, ask questions, talk some shit, tell me how lame I am, all those standard things.
Can I see the chat on mine too?
Well, I don't know. I'm not at your place.
Well, right on. I'm an idiot in these things.
That's all right. If it wasn't for my partners in this network, I would have drowned already. I'm such a techie idiot.
I'll see if anybody calls.
I could agree with that statement.
Now you're going to make me change my glasses just for you, child play. There we go.
It's getting serious now, isn't it?
I actually need a pair of those.
Yeah. Amazon, baby. Amazon.
Okay. I need a pair of those.
Yeah, I'm loving these. These are very descriptive, What's up, Dave? All right. We have our first question, and Maria would like to know, Chris, when you started off in your wrestling career. How old were you?
I was literally 18 when I first started. Garbage back then. I mean, I'd say, it was 98 when I really started getting some good training under my belt. So somewhere around 98. How old would that have been to me? 18, 20, about 24.
No.
92 when I started dabbling in it, but I was just, gosh, man, backyarder back then, didn't know anything about what I was doing, and I just thought I was doing it all okay. Man, looking back those days now, I'm like, you were awful.
Well, sure. If I had any of my matches when I got started, I'm sure I'd cry to run out of the room.
Did you always know you wanted to be a wrestler, or were you? Is it
actually, being? I'm gonna crack you up. Being dead honest with you, I never wanted to be a wrestler, ever. Okay. I was never a big fan of wrestling, other than 80s WWF. But as silly as it sounds, my passion was basketball, but for obvious reasons, I never made the team.
I don't know what reasons are so obvious.
It was.
You couldn't do a layup correctly, right? And that was probably
my dunks just were not on point.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was funny because that was all my passion, and then everybody. I mean, just from early in my teenage days, everybody kept saying, you should go into pro wrestling. You should go into pro wrestling. And I just really had no desire for it. No, what got me started in it was I was a carny in my teenage days. No, I'm not making that up either. I was a carny, and I had him come to me at the Sport Indiana 4-H fair, and he had a midget match booked, and one midget had backed out, and he asked me if I could fill in. And I was so terrified just to do it. I mean, I was so terrified. And he just gave me like the base of the base of the basics. And I don't remember why it didn't work out, but that just didn't end up happening. But then I had kind of a passion for it, so I started like doing managing spots and getting into it in that realm. And I was trying to learn some things. And now and again, they put me in there like for a 5-minute match against a smaller, big guy, regular height guy, and it just sucked. I mean, it just played outside. And then in somewhere around '98, I was wrestling with Jason Maples in the Extreme Wrestling Federation in Marion, Indiana, and I was having this with Jason. I was like, it'd be kind of cool if we could get a hold of all these other federations that only have one little guy, and maybe I could go to this federation in Oregon and wrestle Little Nasty Boy. Then Little Nasty Boy lived in Portland, Oregon. Or then I could go over here to this federation in Tucson, Arizona, and wrestle Pitbull Patterson. Or over here in Rhode Island and wrestle Short Sleeve Samson. And I started doing that in various places. And then I was thinking, man, what would it take to put a show together and get somebody to bring in like 6 of us and have an all-midget show with a big guy match as the novelty match instead? And we started doing that. And, our first clients were PT Show Club. Yes, I know that sounds crazy. A titty bar booked us in Indianapolis, and then Big Daddy's down in Pensacola, Florida.
There's nothing crazy about wrestling in a titty bar, man. Those are some of the greatest shows you could be on.
Listen, let me tell you something. If I were to ever tell my friends, I went to this titty bar and saw a midget wrestling show, like that would not follow up with the night sucked.
No, but here's the funny part, gentlemen. This is what's funny. We think because we are wrestling fans that's what everybody's in there for. But no, you should see these men. They're in there to see the tits. So when we're in there wrestling, you should just see them like now they're looking at us like they want to get in there and wrestle. It's like, would you guys hurry up and beat each up? We want we used to talk about it backstage all the time. We felt like we was there more for the employees than we were the patrons.
That's why you bring the titty girls to the ring with you.
We did.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you have like the titties out and introducing with cards and stuff and chicks up on the poles, titty dancing while y'all were wrestling? I mean, you gotta incorporate the two,
That there was a lot of that stuff going on, but just like what me and Rob talked about before the show, I'm one of the good guys out there, so I didn't try to get involved too much. But I tried to, for my lifestyle outside of wrestling, I tried to keep it as good as I could. But obviously, I'm not in exactly the right area to keep it good.
Now, if you were really all about the show there, brother, you would have got your little ass up on that pole with them.
No, there was once I wasn't a good guy, so I can't say that, there was never shows. Before 2007, before I got my lifestyle right, there was definitely some entertaining show. We'll just leave it at that.
Was there some like motor boating during the wrestling matches going on?
Oh my gosh, dude! From '98 when we really put together the All Midget Wrestling Federation for, I definitely think there was a lot of triple digits of motorboat probably going on.
Okay. Is any of this on tape?
Oh, I'm sure there's videos out there. I've definitely have had people over the years, especially since I've been a good character, come up to me and say, "Hey, man, did you ever see this video of yourself? Yeah, can we get that offline, please?" And because it's just it's a pass.
I mean, I feel there was a lost opportunity there to sell like DVDs, like Girls Gone Wild style and stuff, like midgets, titties.
All right.
Good night, had my all.
Only on this DVD.
Now listen, everybody, listen very carefully. My best friend in the world, Ace Craft, Follow him on Facebook. Add him. He's got DVDs of the underground stuff all out there. So
Nice.
if you guys want the underground midget wrestling DVDs, look up Ace Craft. He will take good care of you. And there's all kinds of undergrounds. There you go, Ace. I know you're listening. There's your plug.
It's funny. I remember asking, going off your statement about not all wrestling fans will go to a midget show because they're wrestling fans. Some people will just go to see the oddity and the spectacle of it. And I was talking to a buddy's girlfriend once when somebody said, "Hey, would you be interested in working with Pitbull Patterson?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." I said, "I'm sure we can work something cool out of that." I asked my buddy's wife. I said, "Hey, so you're not a wrestling fan? Would you pay to see me wrestle a midget?" And she says, "Dude, I would pay to see a midget do anything."
Dude, it's funny you should say that. I got this character, really good friend of mine that I met about a year ago, about a year and a half now. He is over in Anderson, and he throws these gigantic parties once a year. He always called them Going Paloozas because his last name's Going. And
Nice.
last year when he did it, he's got like acres and acres of land. He brought in midget wrestling, and like he tells me on the phone, like, my wife and all of us are obsessed with midgets. So as many as we can get, let's do this. Again, a private party, just he didn't even understand. Kind of an expensive gig. He didn't even care. It booked us. We had one of the greatest times. Well, this coming up weekend is his yearly party, and I thought he was going to book midget wrestling, but they had a few financial issues come in, so he couldn't do the midget wrestling this year. I actually don't know if they were financed, but he just couldn't do it this year. And so he called me like 2 weeks ago. He said, "Hey, let's get some midget strippers." What is wrong with you, dude? and
Can I get an invite to this party?
Yeah.
Aaron going on my Facebook. Aaron,
I heard midget strippers, and I'm in. Like,
yeah, I'm more than in.
And you know what? We had one, but for health reasons, she had to cancel. So if anyone's listening, we need one. But anyway, it's one of those things that it's crazy. So then just yesterday we got talking. He goes, "Let's talk about next year's party. What can we do different? It's got little people." And I'm thinking, this really likes midgets. So next year he's looking at possibly bringing in the mini kiss. So
yeah,
nice. I want to go to that party.
Can I get invites to this party like every year at this point?
Now wait a minute,
yeah,
Ninja. I thought all you juggalos be hating on Kiss. What happened? Did something change?
You know, Mini Kiss has played The Gathering before, right?
No shit.
Yeah, because it's Mini Kiss.
Yeah, they actually. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And
I forgot about that. Yeah, I remember doing that.
I'm pretty sure we've had midget wrestling at The Gathering too, because they have a night. They have a
I
night
think
called
so.
Oddball Wrestling, where it's like, fucking. There's a guy in a gorilla suit, in a Sasquatch suit, versus a guy in a fucking frog suit, and my favorite match is always put wrestler here versus the Invisible Man.
Yes.
I love Invisible Man matches, and then midget wrestling is always part of that. So
had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that exact gimmick at a show once. It was at a church. It was for a youth group, and they were calling it Wrestling for Jesus. I came out to the ring in the beginning of the show, and I said, "Now somebody told me that I was going to have an opportunity to wrestle Jesus," and did a quick 5-minute squash Invisible Man match where I just got the hell beat out of me, pillar to pillar. It was great.
Nice.
No, it's wrestling with Jesus. Yeah, I'll wrestle with Jesus. Come on, Jesus.
Has the Pissed Off Dwarf, have you ever wrestled the Invisible Man?
No. But it's funny. Why you're talking, but why, like anything else, while he's telling the story, you always get like a memory of something else, And the match that came to my mind was at the very beginning of my career. I went out to Arizona. It was like my first traveling gig, and I was supposed to wrestle Pitbull Patterson on this tour, and for whatever reason he didn't come. So they had this gentleman to play one of the 9,000 doinks out there, Well, this guy that played Donkey would carry a rubber chicken in the ring, and so he had a smaller build and everything. And we get in the ring, and like, he literally tears off my shirt like legit hard way, and then comes up and just starts beating the piss out of me across the face and everything with this chicken. And this was not part of the angle, nothing. And like, just totally like, didn't know where that was going or anything. We get in the back, and he's like, man, it just came to me to do that. Like, got all these all over. I'm thinking, let me see that chicken, man.
We have a question for you there, POD.
What up?
Maria would like to know, why aren't wrestlers who are smaller in stature really wrestling anymore?
They are. You just gotta find them. I mean, they're on the indie scene, and we're not like microwrestling.com. They're tour the country, and then you got Extreme Midget Wrestling. I don't even know what their website is anymore. I think it's orphanators.com. Samson's got his own thing too. I do apologize to him if he's listening, because I don't remember the name of his right off the top. I think it's Midget Warriors, Micro Warriors, maybe something like that.
Kidding me? Samson's too good to listen to this.
Is he really?
No.
Well, then let's just shoot on him. No, I'm just kidding.
Look here, Dan. Let me tell you, or Samson. Let me tell you something.
Now watch him call in. What?
Yeah. He's like, hey, prick, what are you talking about? Oh, Lord. Maria had one other question, was, did you get along with the wrestlers for you to keep... Did you get along with most of the boys, and do you keep in touch with them?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Now, it's not like it was when we was all traveling together before retirement, but Meatball still calls me occasionally, once in a blue moon.
Is he still working?
Once in a while. I mean, he doesn't do, obviously we're all getting old. But yeah, once in a while, Meatball get in there again, and I still hear from Little Nasty Boy once in a while, Blitz once in a great while, Pitbull Patterson, I heard from him a couple weeks ago. It's just, we do grow apart, but yeah, we still.
Let me tell you something about Meatball, man. I was on a show with him once, and we were hanging out the night before we do the show, and that little son of he must have put some time into this rib, because nobody knew where he was. He did his gimmick, and he was gone. We thought maybe he left. I finally go open my locker in this high school locker room. Little bastard jumped out of that locker and almost made me pee my tights. Like my boots almost filled up. He scared the hell out of me.
That's too funny.
Because you know how loud his voice can get. So
oh, yeah.
Out, he's all, oh my God. You bastard. I just watched The Leprechaun. You scared the hell out of me.
We did a shoot on him out in Elko, Nevada one time, and it was super funny. He, when he very first started working for me, the Micro Wrestling Federation, he had just come from a company that really just was using him to insult, and they were just using him in the wrong ways. And so he come to work for us, and we were trying to push his way, in a good way, and make him like this big superstar. So we built his character up fairly quick, and then we gave him the belt. Well, then he gets the belt. He was when he would go out on these heavy metal tours with all the heavy metal bands, he'd ask me if he could take the belt with him. He was getting pictures with all these stars and stuff.
Nice.
I don't remember exactly why. We just decided that, it was time to put the belt on somebody else. I think he just had it for a while or whatever. But we didn't tell him this. We made him believe here in this Elko show he was going over and he wrestled Tio. And so then the ref and Tio knew when Tio did this certain spot, do a quick count at 1, 2, 3, and Tio gets the belt. But Meatball, I'm thinking, is going to end on his finish. And man, when we finished it, if you just seen him, he just sits up in the ring like he just can't even believe we just did this to him. So he loses the title, and he just sits up real slow. He's just looking around in this daze. It just seemed like he turned and he comes in the back, and he's like, why didn't you tell me this? Why didn't you tell me this? He was so mad at us. And then he was like, dang, I think he's going to quit. So just for like a day, we had to really be nice to him and make up to him.
Well, we have Mauricio Broadway, otherwise known as the Executioner. Would like to know what you would consider your best match to be. if you could pick just one?
Ooh, that'd be tough.
That's it. That's not a fair question for people to ask because you can't just pick.
Not a fair question. I had two that I would consider my favorite opponents, and it would be because of the amount of matches I had with them. That would be T.O. and Toad. Both of them I had wrestled numerous matches, and so you know how it is once you've had X amount of matches with these gentlemen, then you get to a place where you know their style so well that you have great matches. And I'd gotten asked on another podcast I was on one time if I had ever had the chance to match on something big like WrestleMania or something, who would it be against? And I'd always said it would be Toad or T.O. because those were my best matches.
Why didn't you say it would be Hulk Hogan?
A little bit of height difference.
That's where you make the most money, though.
Yeah.
Mania with Hogan.
Mania with Hogan. God, Mania with Hogan taking on a midget. That'd be funny.
It should have been Brock Lesnar.
What should have been?
Pissed Off Dwarf versus Brock Lesnar.
Oh, that's just not even cool.
And Pissed Off Dwarf wins.
There you go.
All right, now.
There you go.
Now we're going somewhere.
That would have to be.
You can do a midget wrestler with a larger than life wrestler gimmick where like every time they try to body slam them or whatever, they just constantly squirm out of it, and it's always like they can't get a hold of them. That's how you make it believable. And some David and Goliath shit, some Attack on Titan shit.
Yeah, me and Jason Maples actually did that once in Fort Wayne. We did a David and Goliath type match, and he put me over.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how actually I put Pitbull Patterson over. Started beating him about halfway through the match really bad because that dude is an outrageous bumper. He just takes anything. And then I did I'm going up to the top. I'm going to finish him. And then he scurried up like a spider monkey, and he kind of gave me a little backdrop off the top, and he came down with the elbow and got the 3. It was so over, man.
Okay, Rob, I do have.
Yeah, I remember back in the day when like.
Hold on, what was that ninja?
I have to step out for a minute. What I told you earlier.
Go to do your business. Be back in a few.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you in a minute, buddy.
All right.
And back, I'm gonna go grab my cord because I didn't realize mine was getting low here. So when
all right, you go grab your cord, and I'll just sing and dance for the people waiting.
All right, I'll be right back.
I'm not gonna sing and dance for you, people. That's all I'm saying. So, anybody got any questions for me? I'm feeling lonely without Chris. I don't know. He's my security blanket. It's our anniversary. Son of a bitch. You know, I gotta say, we've done a lot of traveling here this last couple of months, man. And the airlines, man, they're tripping. They're dropping the ball. They're fucking everything up, man. Some of you who follow me on Facebook saw my rant when I was leaving New Orleans because American Airlines had us sitting on the tarmac for like an hour. Roxy Red, I got the hat from, I don't know, the Spirit Store, maybe? I don't know. I look for, cheesy little gimmick a lot. Let's see. Am I going to open up that wrestling school? Now, that's a good question. We've been putting a lot of thought into that. And there's a few concerns that Chris and I both have as far as opening up a wrestling school per se. What we are going to do is open up a wrestling venue in Tampa and then reach out to our friend Marty Jannetty and let him come on down, use our building, use our ring, run a school out of it. And then we're going to do shows every couple of weeks, maybe more often than that. We've done a lot of homework, a lot of research into it. But what's cool about this is that we can go get like a retail space. So we can build it out to whatever we want it to look like. So we could actually get bleachers. Roxy, son of a bitch. We could actually get bleachers set up and make it into like a bowl, environment. And I think that would be just wildly popular. I know that it worked out pretty well. We have the UWA Academy back in Sacramento. We get some fun shows out. But there was no bleachers for that son of a bitch Roxy Red to throw me off from. I know he's always looking. I know it. I know you're always looking, you sadistic bastard. The guy that I grew up with, the guy that I went through high school, went to wrestling school, threw me off bleachers like I was a bag of trash. That dirty bastard. Welcome back, POD.
Thank you.
Looks like you got a better
Any more
connection
questions?
too. What's that?
Yeah, actually, it seemed like plugging it in did give me a better connection.
Yeah.
I said, any more questions?
Oh, they'll come in. We're just, doing the WrestleShoot thing. We got
I meant
Roxy
while I
Red,
was gone.
got Roxy Red busting my balls over when he threw me off the bleachers because he's a selfish bastard.
Gotcha.
And then we were talking about opening up a wrestling school in Tampa with Marty Jannetty. But, further reflection on that, I think I want to fall back from that. I'm just going to open up a wrestling venue in a retail spot. Because I think we need them. I think we need them everywhere. I think we need somewhere where the parents can say, we know every second Saturday these guys are going to do a show, and we could drop the damn kids off with them and go to a movie or go out to dinner and be adults for a little while the kids are being entertained by the wrestling.
You know what I always said? I'll give you an idea, Rob, that I always said would work in pro wrestling along the lines of what you're saying. I agree. When kids can get off the street and they have some positive influence to go to like that, man, that's when we're going to make a difference. And a couple years ago, I experimented with a show, and I had a phenomenal crowd on it. It just right about then when I became paralyzed. But what I did was in the show, I went to the local apple orchard here in Indiana, and I got them to donate me like 4 great big bushels of apples for free. And then I went and I took like $100 and I got cases of water at one of the retail stores. It's like a wholesale outlet. So I was getting cases of water for like $2 a piece. So I ended up getting like 50 cases of water. And so if you bought a ticket, I was doing the ticket for $5 just to, again, experiment here a little bit. And I got sponsors to pay for the matches. So sponsors, each of that way the boys got paid. No matter what came through the door, the boys were paid. Each match was sponsored by a local sponsor. So the show essentially was paid for. Because what I did was each match I added a little on to take care of the wrestling ring, the referee, the additional costs. And each person that came through for $5, I gave them 3 basically like pool tickets. And those pool tickets would give you 1 piece of fruit or a bottle of water. So, there's a lot of parents, man, they want to take kids to events, but nowadays they just can't afford it. And so I was thought, man, promote a show where you don't have to spend nothing else to get something to drink and a little snack for the show. Dude, we packed house. It was crazy. We did $5, and it was really nuts how that was one of the biggest things everyone said that brought them to the show was they didn't have to spend the extra money. Once they were in the door, these 3 tickets got them a little something to drink.
Right.
And a little snack. And what we did, the only thing that we did for the drinks was we were offering those little Crystal Light packets for like, I don't even remember, like a quarter or something. So a lot of people just don't like regular water. But still, walk in and get something to snack on and something to drink for a quarter and watch a great show for $5. And yeah, I thought that would go big if more towns would do something like that, like a weekly show, and figure out a way to get your town involved to offer the water and the, like I said, a piece of fruit. Because then it's healthy too. You're not even feeding them junk food.
Yeah, that's great on paper. That's kind of show that would probably work in like a smaller town though, like Tampa. Yeah. Tampa probably wouldn't get too terribly behind something like that, as far as like sponsors and whatnot go, the town community involvement. Yeah. But I would like to, I picked up this when I was promoting in Sacramento. I picked up this Grange Hall at this like astronomical deal and was right there in a neighborhood of houses. Mm-hmm. So I did real low ticket prices, did a show every couple of weeks. And everybody in that community knew about it. So they didn't have to drive. They would just walk right over to the show. we would pack that place out, boy. And that's what you want to do. You want to bring them something that the parents feel safe leaving that. Maybe, you know, the kid, the son and the dad could connect. Oh, we go to the matches together. It turns into such a snowball effect of positivity in the end.
Yep.
We all know that sometimes pro wrestling brings some real dirty shit around with it. So this way we get to knock the dust off the snowball.
Yep.
Let's see. Has there ever been a mixed tag team match where one midget and one bug guy on each team? Bad guy on each team?
Yeah, one big guy on each team is what it means.
Oh, big guy. Holy Christ. Of course they have. Come on, Roxy. We've watched those matches together.
Yeah, lots of them. We used to do that a lot.
Roxy. Hillbilly Jim and Big John Studd did it.
Yeah, we used to do them a lot up in Detroit for the Lucha shows, under the Bumpin' Uglies. When they would promote those Lucha shows up in Detroit, they'd bring the midgets in and we'd do mixed tags.
All right, okay. I always wanted to do one. I consider if a wrestler gets to work with a midget, like that dude has really accomplished something. Out of a whole locker room full of guys, a whole territory full of guys, they pick you because they feel like you're going to be the safest with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have the best match. And that's really an accomplishment. I've managed to do that 2 times.
Nice.
Yeah, it is cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
It makes you feel accomplished. Because I know that showing out here in Pittsburgh when you were here on my part was horrible because I dislocated my shoulder like right in the beginning. Remember out in Pittsburgh, our match was only like 6 minutes because I pulled my shoulder out of socket?
What year was that? Do you remember?
Oh, shit. I don't know. I don't even know what year this is.
I don't know.
I just know that was the show that we had you and your son wrestle on it. We had Preston Steele. He was Doink the Clown that night.
Okay, now I know what show you're talking about. Yes. Now I know what show you're talking about.
Yeah, where we made the mistake of running against the opening day of preseason. Oh, man. What a night. Bad draw, tore my shoulder out of socket.
Yes, I do remember that now. Gave
myself arthritis even to this day over it.
You know, I can't swear to it, but I think that might have been the last show I was on, Preston. I can't swear to that.
You know, Preston's making movies now.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Is he still a deputy also?
No, he's retired. But in the movie he's doing now, he's a cop. So
of course.
It's like, okay, we don't need you to be a clown. So how about a cop?
Well, that's a little far-fetched for him.
Yeah, that's a reach there, buddy. I love Preston, man. That guy.
I do too.
That guy's just got a story for every occasion.
And you know, him and Zoltan both from that area, and Tarantula, that whole area. That whole area is just phenomenal people. You know, if any of them are listening, shout out to all of you, miss you guys. Tarantula used to bring me in for what was that? The Far North Wrestling? Is that what that was called? Yeah, out there in Pittsburgh. FNW. And then Preston Steele used to bring us in a lot. Zoltan was always pitching us to people over there when Cheesy was still alive, Prince Cheesy. And so
I feel like Zoltan is maybe pitched you to me.
Totally possible.
Yeah,
because
it makes sense.
Yeah, because man, Zoltan, there for a while, I was getting calls from all kinds of promoters in that area, and it was always because those 3 guys, Preston Steele, Tarantula, and Zoltan, they 3 great guys. I enjoy those guys a lot.
You know, I'm going to blow up his spot right now. You know what T Ranch's shoot job is?
Isn't he like what do you call that? A constable or something?
Corrections officer.
Yeah.
That works here in the jail in Pittsburgh. I saw him not too long ago over at the Allegheny General Hospital, all dressed up in his uniform. I said, "Yo, you okay, brother?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, we just got a dirtbag in there getting looked at." All right.
You know what's crazy? He doesn't age either. The man is just always, I mean, it's like, goodness, he always looks in great shape and just like, wow.
Hell of a worker. Never
Yeah,
got my chance
he's-
with him, but he's just a beast. He's just
He
great,
is.
big, hulking dude.
And you know what I was like about him was he's a man of his word. You know, there was you always get those promoters if the show went bad or something. And I understand. I mean, we've all been there where you got to cut him a few bucks or whatever. But he was always a man of his word. He told me, hey, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars when you get there. Man, you walked in the door and he took care of you pretty quick after you got there. And always all the accommodations were always good. I just always enjoyed.
You know that is sparking a memory. It reminds me of somebody. Oh yeah, me.
yes. But you know how many dirty promoters are out there that do that? You know.
Oh sure, yeah.
We've all done those too, where you get there and they made you a promise for this much, and then they cut it in half, or whatever, and you're just like you were already like figuring out what you were doing with this, and the bad days of wrestling.
Man, I tell you, I don't care.
So
I don't care.
bad.
I don't care if I've been paying somebody $1,000, $100 or $1. If they're only getting $1, they will walk in the front door and be handed their own envelope with $1 in it.
It's the greatest way to do it.
That's the only way to do it.
Yes.
That keeps you from getting stabbed in the parking lot.
That's right. And not just that, but there's always the payback that next time you book them, they just won't show up. They'll take the book and just not show up on you.
Or they'll tell everybody that you burned them, ruin your reputation. Yeah. It's a tough business to build a reputation. And when you have it, it's gone like that if you screw up. It's rough.
Yep. Once you get a bad promoter name, you won't keep a bad promoter name.
Yep. Yeah, and I've worked for so many fucking dirtbag promoters out there. It's just you understand that kind of, because it's not even most of the time about the money. It's about the fact that they're trying to punk you, and that burns you up like jail rules burns you up.
I'll tell you funniest stories to tell. The very first guy that I ever worked for back in the local sport fair, I will not go into names because again I've long since squashed this heat and I don't want to rehash it.
Right.
But this particular individual, Ace, if he's listening, I guarantee he's getting ready to crack up. This gentleman, after '98, after I started gaining a decent name for myself, he called me and he's got a show over in Chesterfield, Indiana, and he said, he'd heard what I was getting and all this, and at the time, don't quote me, but I think I was getting like somewhere around 300 a match. It was right here in my home state. And so he's like, I heard what you're getting. Come out, I'll take good care of you and everything. And he said, do you think if needed, though, you cut me a little bit of break? I said, yeah, I mean, it's close enough to home. It's a 45-minute drive. It was like, not a big deal, So I drive over and we have a great time. He, I don't remember what it was he did that I was super, super stiff on me, and I got hurt. Not like bad hurt, but did where I was going to be out for a couple weeks, an injury.
So you got hurt, not injured.
Yeah, hurt. And thought, but I was going to be out for a few weeks because it was bad enough. And so I go in the back limping, and I'm all banged up. And as I'm walking towards the back, Ace passes me, and he's giving me that, rubbing his fingers together like it's time to get paid. And the way he gives me the eye, I'm thinking, boy, he must have gotten really good taken care of, because he's giving me this look like he just really got good taken care of. So I go in the back, and the promoter looks at me, and he hands me an envelope, and he's like, you did an excellent job. I'd like to use you in the future. I can't believe how far you've come over the years. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, hey, man, thanks. And when I fill the envelope, it feels like there's some serious cash in there. So I go out, sit and watch the rest of the show, and of course, turn my back and kind of open my pocket and rip the envelope open. There's 5 $1 bills in there, and Ace just cracks up laughing, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so mad. This dude called me like 2 weeks later. Says, "You think you can hook up again?" I was like, "No, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that."
Yeah. I did a rib similar to that on Legion of Doom, where I handed them their envelopes and it was stuffed with Monopoly cash. All of a sudden, I just hear Old Animal's voice boom out. What? And then you hear Hawk on the ground. He's like, that little son of a bitch. Let's call him back here and make like everything is cool. I'm like, you can't plant a rib that loud. Yeah, they were both very cool guys. Roxy Rad, somebody, the dickhead who threw me off the bleachers, was wrestling Rude Boy, one of the Insane Clown Posse clique guys.
Yeah.
And Roxy was just terrified. He'd never been in with any kind of a name before, so he was just sweating bullets. And finally, Hawk goes, what's up with your boy? Looks like he's going to throw up. I was like, yeah, he's really nervous. And he says, oh, okay. And then just walked over, sat down next to him, gave him this big, long pep talk. And I was like, man, that's how the business is supposed to be. We're all supposed to be taking care of each other, not
That's right.
backstabby kind of mid-60s bullshit we've all reverted back to.
You know something I wanted to add in here. We had the fan ask earlier who was my favorite match, and I mentioned Toad and Tio. But, you know, something I wanted to add in that was, you know, my most honored match, I felt like a fool in it, was I got to wrestle beautiful Bobby Dean once before he passed away, little buddy. And, yeah, man, I tell you, you want to talk about an honor. I mean, there was nobody that knew wrestling better than Lord Littlebrook and his boys, being Bobby and Cato. I still to this day, I look up to Cato as like the person Cato. Cato's one of mine. That I look up at as an idol to me. You know, because Littlebrook, I mean, gosh, did anybody ever do it better than Littlebrook, you know, in the world of men's wrestling? In my opinion, no. They just didn't come better than Littlebrook. So I want to make sure I give a shout out to that match too. But I felt so horrible in that match because that was like in my green days, and I looked up to Bobby then, and like Bobby was where I wanted to get to, the top level. So
Sure.
I thought I was there, you know, and I finally got a match with him, and it was in Florida, and it was just, whew, boy, did that humble me. That was one of those matches, you know, when it was over, it's like, whoa, boy, man, do I have a long way to go.
I have a similar experience regarding Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah.
Where, WrestleShoot used to be a terrestrial radio show. I used to do it with Michael Porter like 110,000 years ago before it redawned as what it is now. But back then we were doing WrestleShoot. You know, me and Snuka, we were buddies.
Right.
So he starts, you know, just running a little bit of jaw, ribbing into me a little bit, and I run a little bit back to him. And finally, Snuka gets this idea where he's just going to start really railing into me on the radio. And then later on, after we were done with it, he calls me and goes, you know, brother, we got to do something with this one, okay? And I'm like, yeah, what do you want to do? Well, I want to come out there and I want to work with you. Then we figure out we're going to turn it into a tag team match. We're going to do Jimmy Snuka and Tonga Kid versus me and Casanova.
Right.
So I'm like retard happy. I was about midway cutting my teeth, you know, into the business, still trying to figure it all out.
Right.
I've probably been in for less than 10. So I picked Snook up at the airport because he says he wants to come in like 5 days early because he's bored as hell in Jersey, wants to spend a week in California, and we'll go out and promote the hell out of this, which we did. Boy, did we. But when I pick him up from the airport, I say, what are we going to do, Jimmy? We're going to do the, you know, I go up to the top and I miss a splash. You hit the splash and 1, 2, 3. He goes, I don't know, brother, but I think that you boys should go over. I don't want to go over like when? Well, yeah, you're not new to this. You know what go over means. And I'm like, no. Come on, people aren't paying to see me pin you. Now that's why we're gonna do it, brother. Then we're gonna have a rematch. Oh shit! So now I'm in this silent, stunned, terrified moment of all of a sudden I don't even know the name of a wrist lock. I don't know any names to any moves. I don't know anything. So he goes, yeah, brother, we're gonna do the thing where you go upstairs and you miss, and then I go upstairs and I hit it, and then you have your boy come in and stop me, and we'll schmoz at home. I was like, okay, we're going to schmoz at home. I'm not going to actually go over. Until not too long before we went out, Jimmy tapped me on the shoulder and said, at the end of it, hit Sam in the face with your belt. Yes. Okay, I'll hit Tonga Kid in the face with my belt. You goddamn right I will, because that stiff son of a bitch was irritated. that we were gonna go over. He didn't think that there's any way he should have to go under to us kids. And Snuka leaned in and said, "Brother, you're gonna lay down, or I'm gonna smack you in the fucking mouth right now."
And who was this? Tonga Kid, you said?
Yeah, Tonga Kid didn't want to go under. And Jimmy threatened to smack him in the mouth if he didn't. Yeah, you gonna lay down out there, or you gonna lay down back here, brother? Yeah, I love Snuka, man.
All those 80s, though, all those 80 guys, you know, one of my favorite things to tell people about my wrestling days, because, of course, you know, after you're retired, you're always asking what's the greatest thing that, you know, some of your greatest stories. And, like, actually, what I love to tell people is, you know, when I was a kid and I watched the 80s pro wrestling, my mom bought me one of those blankets for my bed, and it had all the 80s wrestlers on, Hulk Hogan, Honky Tonk Man, Iron Sheik,
and all them guys.
Yeah, all those. And I was like, you know, the greatest thing is, like, every single wrestler on that blanket, I've been in some kind of promotion with. And I'm like, and it's like the great thing to say, Jake the Snake, you know, all of them. I mean, Boss Man, back when, you know, when Trailer was still alive. I mean, it's all of them. Yeah. And so looking back, that's like one of the greatest things I ever got to say was my childhood heroes as they went back into the Indies, getting to meet all of them, you know.
You're right, man. Like I came up watching all these dudes that I was really fortunate with having opportunities to actually tie up with, and even it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. It doesn't matter how many times I've wrestled Honky Tonk Man. If I'm booked with Honky, I show up with butterflies like a kid. Yeah, and he's like, "Well, there you are again, you scared little bastard. Come on over here."
Yeah, and again, just like when I've hung out with Honky a few times. Like, I think about my childhood days of him and the Warrior matches and all that, you know, and then you're sitting 2 feet away from him eating pizza and drinking beer, you know, and it's like, wow, I mean, who thought when you were 8 years old this was ever going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
And
I'm sitting with Marty Jannetty and Honky Tonk Man in this little hick bar in a town called Marysville, California, because we were all doing a show the next day. And we surprised our buddy. He used to be WWF ring announcer. His name was Michael Porter, who I started WrestleShoot with. But we are there getting just piss house fucking drunk. I mean, like nobody's even going to try to drive. And poor Porter never drank. And I'm telling this story to speak to Honky Tonk Man's sense of humor. Porter doesn't really drink, so he's trying to keep up. And finally, he's standing at the edge of the table. And he goes, "Guys, I can't feel my nose." And Honky reached out and touched him on the nose and said, "I can. It's right there." Yeah, Honky is a cool dude. Only thing that bothers me about Honky is that he just won't put the young guys over. And it's like, dude, there was a time when the old guys started putting you over, and now it's your turn. And just fucking do. Nobody's going to believe this test of strength gimmick anymore.
No.
I mean, nobody would have really believed it in the first place. Honky was never the rich one. But my favorite part about Honky Tonk Man is when he tells you a story. He'll be just telling the story in animated, then halfway through he'll just stop and stare at you and wait for you to react. He won't make you react.
My favorite thing about Honky is that you always know where you stand with him. He does not sugarcoat nothing. You know, if he's upset with you, you know it. If you're on his good side, you know it. But, you know, I mean, you just always know where you stand. He's a straight shooter.
He followed me out the back door of the locker room, and I turned around, looked at him, and said, "Oh, what's up, buddy?" He says, "What did you just say to me?" I didn't say anything. He goes, "You didn't say blah, blah, blah?" I said, "Honky, I never said a word." And he said, "Oh, my mistake." He went back inside. He was just about to chew into me out there. Yeah, good old Honky. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like old Child Play ain't going to make it back in time, but that is our hour.
Thank
Chris,
you.
Got anything you want to plug before we get up out of here?
Not really, man. I had a great time. I appreciate you inviting me. I hope you have me back again sometime.
Oh yeah, we're totally gonna have you back.
Yeah, and on Facebook, Christopher Geyer. And again, if any of you look for any of those underground midget wrestling DVDs, hit up Ace Craft. Go to my Facebook and find him, and he's got tons of that stuff.
Now, should we try to book it now for, say, what, another year?
Yeah, we probably should get started now, so that way we get it online, right?
That's right.
Yeah, you
All
definitely
right,
holler at
brother.
me, though.
Thank
I'd
you
love
so
to do
much.
that.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to hang out and chat with you. Child Play had to go take care of a quick errand. He's not going to make it back in time. And Chris Casanova is probably in the air escaping DC, or not DC. Where is he? Detroit, as we speak. Maria, thank you for the great show. Chris, thank you for coming on. And
Hey, thank you, guys.
that is going to do it for this week's episode. We're trying to have Mike Rain coming on with us next week. Hopefully it'll happen so we can finally get to the Apocalypse Family Reunion show. Then we're going to work on having the round table of fans, people. So stay with us. We try to keep it interesting and try to keep you guessing. Until then, we'll see you next week. Love you. Mean it. Bye.
Peace.